Hello. Let's see. Right now, I'm just working on some admin stuff, hanging out. Drop any questions you have about social work, about the immigration process, about mental health. Just here. Hello, hello. I'm just doing like a Q&A type of thing. Anyone have any questions about social work, mental health, becoming a therapist, immigration as it relates to immigration evaluations by a mental health professional? Um, Anything. Just a Q&A, hanging out with the YouTube crew today. Trying to make sure I make time for everyone. Trauma, prolonged and repeated trauma during childhood. Just working on some immigration stuff for a client of mine. Um, yeah, so just chatting with you all while I'm getting that done. Not reading it because of HIPAA, obviously, but happy to answer any questions people have about this process. Um, I can say that, a lot of people ask, do you feel like, people are no longer going down the path of like trying to get their paperwork together? And I would say that people are more motivated now more than ever to get this documentation done. What are some relaxing tools used before the LCSW that you use? Oh, that's a great question. I remember, so I took my exam 3 times. I failed the first time by 4 points, second time by 1 point, and then the third time is when I finally passed. I think the difference in the third time and what I did differently is number one, I worked with the hypnotherapist. So like I did hypnotherapy, and she and I created these pre-recorded hypno sessions that I listened to before the exam. So I literally listened to that up and before the exam. Number two, the thing that I think I did differently was like I stopped studying. Like I didn't study the day before the exam. I just rested. I relaxed. I just took it easy, and I think that was really helpful for me too. Because what I found that is that I knew the material, I knew the stuff, but like my anxiety was so high, so I had to figure out how to manage my anxiety. And that's like why I worked with the hypnotherapist. And so the day before, I just relaxed. I took the day off from work. I rested. I ate a good breakfast. Like I just took it easy, which I didn't do the other times. I think the other times I was like studying up until the night before, studying before I got in through the doors, like just super anxious, running really anxious. And so, relaxation. I One of the things that I did for my fellow supervisee, she's an LPC, but when she was working with me, she was an LAPC, so she was an associate counselor. I paid for her to stay at a hotel and told her, hey, just relax. And she did that, and she passed her LPC exam. So I would recommend the number one thing is like relax, like self care, indulge in that, heavily lean on that, do those things that help relax your nervous system because you're already going into a nerve wracking exam. And so, whatever that looks like for you, whatever you have the access or the capability to do, but I think the most important thing is like finding relaxation and self care. So, take care of yourself, pour into yourself, love on yourself, go to a nice dinner. Maybe don't have too many drinks because obviously you want to wake up for the exam. So I think self care is the number one thing. Great question. And if you look at the different times that I took the exam, That was the difference, right? Finally leaning into that relaxation, finally leaning into relaxing my nervous system, and just going into there feeling lightweight, like light as a feather. And that was helpful. So those recorded hypno sessions, like I did hypnotherapy, that was really helpful. Hello, to de frias. Hello, hola or obrigado. Yeah, great question. What other questions y'all have? Speaking of like October 18th is like my anniversary, my like ninth. We'll do that. Thank you. You're welcome, Maya. Good luck. Do you have a test date? Like, do you know when you're taking the test? Oi, Portuguese. No, I don't speak too much Portuguese. I can understand it a little bit because I grew up with a lot of Brazilian people in Boston, but I don't speak it too well. All right. I do have a lot of Brazilian and Portuguese speaking clients that I've been working with for the immigration work. So I just hire an interpreter to work with those. So if anybody's interested, I do have interpretation services for Portuguese, both Brazilian and Portugal Portuguese. Somebody asked a question and I missed it. Let me see if I can get that back. As a new LCSW, I was wondering, how do you get started with doing assessments? Do we use the assessments that we know of as social workers, PHQ-9, or do you complete and have your own? So it depends. I think I want to make a longer video about this, but this is a great question. The thing with assessment is, it depends what assessment you're doing, right? So for the purpose of immigration evaluation assessments, I took a training through the University of Texas Austin, and it was a program. It was through the University of Texas Austin, but there was this small nonprofit called Gita Soul that was funded through University of Texas, but unfortunately they've lost their funding since our new president. I'll say that. And so I took that training, and what it helped me understand is that I already had the skills as an LCSW to do these evaluations, and they reaffirmed that in so many levels. So number one, it depends what training you're doing. Number two, yes, those tools are very helpful in doing your clinical assessments. Those help quantify, or if you will, for a lot of measures for a lot of what people are experiencing. And so a lot of these assessments are about speaking to the mental health impacts that somebody is experiencing. And so things like the PHQ-9 help quantify that, right? It helps say like, oh, this person scored a level 21. That means they're experiencing extreme anxiety, or excuse me, extreme PHQ-9, extreme depression. All right, so it gives you a basis to justify the prognosis. And so that's why those things are important. Those are all elements of the assessment. I think, again, it just boils down to what type of assessment you're doing. Are you doing court mandated evaluations are you doing substance abuse assessments? Are you doing immigration assessments? Or like, what type of assessments are you doing? And then you can incorporate those clinical tools into your assessments. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know any further questions on that. Hi there. Hi. Let's see. Good questions, y'all. Anything else? So, for example, I'll give the example of like my immigration evaluations, or assessments rather. Assessments and evaluations are interchangeable terms, but I always include PCL5. PCL5 is how we screen for trauma and PTSD. Yo, it's the Hershey Bar mascot. I don't know what that means or who that is. Anyways, I use PCL5 for PTSD. I use PHQ-9 for depression. I use GAD-7 for anxiety. I use and I will use ACEs too for some of those immigration assessments, particularly the ones for like asylum or hardship waivers. I will use those as well. So like, you have all the access to all these tools. How you use them is up to you, but it is super helpful because like when an attorney is reading it or a judge is reading that, they're just like, okay, what the heck does this all mean? You're gonna say at the end of the day, this score means that this person is experiencing really high levels of depression, and as a result, my clinical recommendation is that this person gets ongoing care, right? Or this client continues with treatment. You make your clinical recommendations from that. So identify what type of assessments you want to do. There's tons of assessments out there. I think there's a misconception that assessments are only for psychologists, and I'm not sure how that came about. Like, I get it, right? Like, sometimes some of these things are like specifically for psychologists because they can do types of testings and screenings that most master's level clinicians don't have access to. So there are things that are exclusive to them, but like the majority of assessments isn't exclusive to just psychologists. So yeah, I don't know what this is. Oh, Diamond, you're joking. Oh, sorry. I didn't get it. But hi and welcome. Which reminds me, I gotta complete something. Oh, I see what's going on. You gotta complete this contract here. Work. Yeah, to getting some work done. Um, for some speaking engagement. I'm signing a contract. Somebody asked me to speak at an event. Makes sense. Perfect. So identify I'm gonna make a longer video, a long form version video about like the different assessments that social workers, licensed clinical social workers, can do. And then once you decide the ones that you want to do, whether it's anger management, immigration evaluations, whatever it is, you will determine what tools are necessary for you to assess your client essentially. And so again, you have the assessment skills. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Yes, you have the assessment skills already by virtue of being like, especially if you worked in inpatient psych, you've worked in outpatient mental health where you're evaluating people. Like you have the experience already. You have you have the qualifications to do the assessments and evaluations. You just got to decide which ones you want to do. What type of cases you working with? Are you working with trauma-based cases? Are you working with substance abuse clients? If you're working with substance abuse clients, what are the relevant screening tools that you need to use, right? So it's like that. What's today's date? Today is the 10th. What are your thoughts on group work? I'm thinking about making the leap into private practice, but I really enjoy facilitating groups more than individual groups. I think group work is awesome. If you have the capacity to do it, I think it's awesome. I think it can be just as impactful and potentially lucrative, especially if you have like a specialized skill set or a specialized niche. I think it can be really amazing. Like I think there's a huge need for like perinatal mental health groups, right? For women who just get, or birthing people, or whatever the niche, or whoever the person is, birthing people, women, whatever term you want to use, for those individuals that just give birth. I think there's a potential and there's a market for that. I think there's like specialized sort of groups like OCD, people that need those groups, anxiety, or like life skills group. There's a lot of young adults who don't know how to be adults, and so they would benefit from that. I think once you identify the niche or the people that you want to work with, marketing is going to be your best friend. And once you nail that marketing, you can knock this out the park. And you could definitely have a practice based around that, right? You decide that, hey, I'm going to charge people. Hello, Ashton. I'm going to charge people 25 a pop to be in the group, right? And I'm going to cap the group off at 6 people. 25 times 6. I'm not really great at math, but let's see. 25 times 6. That's $150. You run the group, say that's 45 minutes. Say you run about 5 of those a day. I mean, that's that sounds good to me. That's $750 for the day, right? And that a day can be 5 hours, a day can be 6 hours. When you're in private practice, your day is your day. You make it how you want to be. So I think there's absolutely a market for it. I think the more niche you are, the better in terms of like providing a service to people that are in need out there. Send this to my. That's the beauty of having like all Apple products. Like I have my iPad here, my phone, my MacBook, or excuse me, my MacBook and my iMac, and I can just send everything over when I'm looking for a document. But hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. So, sorry, I missed what you said. I saw a position work with substance abuse clients, but wasn't sure if I needed the certification. Are we able to provide those assessments without the CAC? I think so. Here's the deal. I know a lot of court mandated clients, or a lot of courts in different counties. They look for people like us, and they're gonna want you to have some sort of certification, and it doesn't have to be just a CAC. I think another one that people get is like the LDAC. I think if I'm not mistaken, LDAC one, depending on the state. So like any one of those will set you up for success and work with that population. I don't think it can hurt you to have it, but if you were like doing it at a private, like when I was working at a outpatient mental health clinic, I was seeing substance abuse clients. Now, what did I have the certification? No, but I think I got a lot of training on the job. But it depends. Like again, if you're gonna do this independently, if you're gonna be contracting with the state, you're gonna be contracting with like the local counties. You probably want to have one of those certifications, and it doesn't have to be CAC. You just got to figure out what it is. I would say figure out what the most popular one is. I think it's the LDAC, right? And I could be wrong, but I think you could decide around which one you get based on like what do you see the demand around, and I primarily see it around the LDAC or something like that. What is this? great questions, yo. I'm trying to work and talk to y'all, so bear with me. I don't know what I'm up for a freebie yet. I'm gonna hold off on that. Let's see. I'm gonna do substance abuse counseling certifications. So apparently Pessy has some sort of some trainings that can help you with certifications. The price is pretty good. Which one is this one though? This is a CAIMHP. There are just so many out there. Honestly, I I think you can just get one and you'll be fine. I seen something like on TikTok where somebody was running like a treatment, a halfway house, and so like she'll run groups, and she's not even a therapist, mind you. She's like just a business person, but she hires therapists within her halfway house to run these addiction groups, and they're billing like $700 per group, and she's running like 10 groups a day. That's like $7,000 just off groups alone. So like it can definitely be lucrative. Also, like some of the schools offer these certifications as well. I know that UMass Medical School up in like Massachusetts, where I'm from, they do have the certifications. They have the CAC, I believe, and I think they have the LDAC, which if you already have your master's and you already have years of experience, that you can get on a fast track, which is really helpful, I think. And so you can look into that, right? So like you already have the experience, you already have the license, you can kind of just check that out. There's a CCIT, CACI, CAC1, CAC2, CCS, and CMAC. There's so many. I got called that I missed my reply. Oh yeah, I did. So what I was telling you is that it depends on where you want to work, what type of work you're trying to do. If you're looking to work with like the county, the local governments, they're probably going to want you to have that certification. Now, if you're doing your own thing in private practice and you feel comfortable enough by virtue of your experience, then you don't necessarily need the certification. It just depends on what population, or rather, where are you trying to get clients from. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna hop off because I really want to finish this report today. As always, make sure y'all follow me. Let me know if you have any further questions. Tay, I'm gonna make the video about the different assessments that social workers can perform. I hope to have that up by next week. Um, Regarding the group work. You might have. I did respond to that, but I'm gonna. This video is gonna be posted, so you can check it out. But I'm gonna make a long form video for you around the different assessments that social workers can do. The short answer to your question right now, before I log off, because I really want to finish this report, is that yes, you can do groups. Groups can be very lucrative. The most important thing is to like be niche down if you can. Really try to find an area that not too many people are doing, but you know there's a great need. And one of the ways that you can determine that is just go online, right? Like Facebook is a world of knowledge right now with people with problems, and you can kind of understand what they're going through, what they need, and what they're experiencing. One of the things I did was like, there was a Black women's in depression group, and I would just go in there and kind of just observe all the conversations, and you can build from there, right? That's like getting the information from the firsthand source and like building around that. So like you can do those type of things, but I think you absolutely should pursue groups, and it can be lucrative, it can be very impactful. I think niching down is really important. So again, I'm going to make a longer form video about the assessment social workers can do. Social workers and counselors. It isn't exclusive to social workers. I know a lot of people feel like I lean more towards social worker, but I'm a social worker. But I'm going to post that maybe hopefully by next week, because this week is about to be really nuts. But anyways, thanks for hanging out with me. Make sure y'all follow, subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to post this video, and y'all take care.